Okay. Okay.
Well, Monterey Parker was a McDougall. He married a Parker, man Parker. And this is daughter, and
I'm gonna have to get on this other side because of the.
Here, you sit here.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Well, it's just that the sun. Yeah, all I see is a shadow. Oh, this is much better. Much better.
have you started yet?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Well, this is daughter of Monterey McDougall.
Okay, I need help with who Monterey is.
That was Eugene McDougall's daughter.
And how was Eugene related to Alonzo?
That was his uncle.
Eugene was an uncle to Alonzo. Okay.
And then they had this daughter by the name of Monterey McDougall. And she married Clarence Parker. And Tudor Parker is Eugene Parker. Is the one that lived at Dilly. And that's Rhonda's and Cheyenne
And Bonnie.
Bonnie's daddy.
Okay. And so that's how they're related. So they're. So let me see. So Alexander.
You kin on both sides. You kin on the Strimple side and the McDougall side both.
Right. Yeah, I have Strimple and McDougall.
Parents were cousins. Second cousins.
Who? Whose parents?
My mother and daddy were second cousins.
Oh, okay.
That's how it's kid.
Okay.
And they married. And I'm the oldest child. And Tudor's a baby.
Okay.
And his name is Eugene James
Eugene James
Parker.
Okay. I'm trying to piece it all together.
Well, that's how it goes. Is that your daddy?
Yep, that's him. Myrtle.
His sister is deceased.
Uh-huh.
I know he built a Handy Andy up there in Harper. And who did?
Tudor and I,
And he go to San
Who,
Antonio after girlfriend.
Tudor and I are the only ones living.
That are still
Had
alive?
the sideboards on
That
it.
remaining in y'all's
He'd make me
generation?
in the back.
Oh,
So the
okay.
Mexicans could steal stuff through the openings in there. We'd slap for him that they can't see them.
Leanne who?
Leanne Cookman from Mesa. They have they had 3 children, but they were divorced.
We
And,
have the Thomas McDougall family.
and she got killed
Oh, this is
in a car
okay.
wreck.
So yours.
And then
Yeah, we have ours
he
over here.
married
We're checking those.
Leanne Jordan. And they have 6 living children. 1 baby.
So did you know Tudor very well?
Wow.
Lost 1
Oh,
baby.
yeah. Yeah, factory raised him.
You said that a while ago. Yeah, he was. See,
He comes see me more than he does anybody. He comes to Harper everywhere he goes.
What is
tell him hello for me.
Oh,
He told me he'd see me in 10 days the other day, but
When I was young, I lived in San Antonio until I was about 3rd grade or so, and then I moved to Harper. And at that time, I was considered the city boy, which I was, and I was having a hell of a time with all the boys picking on me. And Tudor lived a couple of doors down from me, and he was my guardian. He would take up for me because he was about 2 years older than me. And he didn't mind taking up for me either. You know Tudor.
oh yeah.
And that's my recollection of him. Then, of course, moved away and we've lost track. But that was an interesting time in my life.
Is it okay to get some stories about Alonzo, whatever you remember about Alonzo?
Very little I remember about him. I know he stayed with us, and I went fishing with him. And then he was up at Sessions and burnt the house down up there. That's about all I can tell you.
Do you know the story how he burned the house down? Was he cooking?
Well, he was cooking or something.
And burned it down? You said you went fishing with him, or?
Oh, yeah. We lived at Morris Ranch, and the river was right there at us. And he wanted to go, one of us kids to go fishing. I wasn't even in the school. I'd go down to the river. I can remember that. I went down to the river with him fishing.
Huh.
He liked to fish, I know that.
Wow. And did you know his wife?
Never knew of her till I met, what's his name back here?
Oh, Doug Knox. Yeah.
I never even knew that she was my grandma's sister. See, I didn't know that family.
Yeah, the Strimples. Yeah, your grandmother was a sister to my great grandmother. Wow.
Double kin.
Yeah, double kin, Strimple side and McDougall side. Wow. And related to the Parkers. Didn't know it. Yeah.
So you're related to this lady.
Yeah. That's kind of neat.
Go digging things up, you find out a lot of things.
Yeah, because I was, raised in Dilley, and I knew the Parkers, but didn't know they were related.
Eugene A. McDougall.
The last of a long driveway of pines that once led out of the original entrance on Young Street. If you read in our book, there is a description about where his first property was, and it gives you that the time when he planted those trees, and so they've been there since the early 1800s when he first planted them. He says, with a place like this, you don't ever really get to own it. You're a caretaker, or you destroy it. He wanted to keep it, make it so wonderful that it would never be knocked down. The result is a home that is part museum and part modern mansion. The windows are original, complete with blemishes and drafts. The 12-pane windows in the master bedroom at the back date from around 1828. In the front, two larger 2-pane windows date from Victorian times, when glass-making technology had improved. In the basement, there is a hand-hewn support beam with clear axe marks from the days preceding the pit saw. The late restoration artist Anthony Adamson concluded that the beam was part of the original log home built on the site in 1804. So that's when he built the original part of it, and it became a tavern. For a while, the cabin served as a tavern for patrons traveling up Young Street. And we know that that was the McDougall Tavern, and from the description we have in our book, we know that that is where they held a lot of the town councils, because that was the only place where they could meet. With a lot of help from researchers, Mr. Siegel has traced the origins of the property to the late 1700s, when a group of Queens Rangers drew consecutively numbered lots up Young Street, north of what is today Eglinton. The property he owns began as a 210-acre lot that spread westward from Young over what is now Baltimore Street, Baldhorse Street. In 1810, an early land speculator by the name of William Allen bought the property off Mr. McDougall and quickly sold it to Martin Snyder, a loyalist soldier who had been captured by the Americans in 1777. This log cabin was the beginning of the McDougall family in the Toronto area, and that is the where Alexander's father first lived. He later, when he sold his property, he moved to not far away and built another larger establishment and continued the McDougall Inn, as it was called. It was a tavern, and that's where they lived for all the time that Alexander was growing up.
What was his livelihood? Does anyone know? John.
The son John,
No, the great.
the great grandfather, he was the tavern owner. The tavern owner.
Alexander, wasn't he?
Mhm.
He was the tavern owner?
Also last year, we had donated to us the metal markers from the gravesite of Johanna and Alexander. And when we started pursuing what we should do with those markers here in Fredericksburg, we stayed for a while and got in touch with the Gillespie County Historical Society. The society advised us not to mount, as we had originally wanted to do, mount the markers onto a board or anything of that nature. They asked us to donate them to them just exactly as they were. And if you'll remember, they had some grips on the back, and where they had originally been attached to a fence, and they wanted us to give them to us exactly like that, so that they would be preserved historically. We spoke to them a couple of days in a row, and finally made the agreement that they would take them as our donation from our family group, and that they would not promise us that they would be displayed or used immediately, but they would, as they redo all of their displays in the 3 sites that they have here in Fredericksburg, that they would be used at some point where they fit in to their themes as they change them from time to time. So I plan on going tomorrow to see if I can find where they have used them, and hope I'll find them. They did, however, indicate that we gave them a copy of our book, and so that they could see the historical value of how it fit into the history of Fredericksburg. We did also make a trip to the cemetery here in Fredericksburg, Der Friedhof, which is actually straight ahead down the street. If you go straight ahead, you're going to run right into the cemetery. And we found that the marker there, where these original metal markers came from, there's a huge granite marker which was placed there, and we don't know the origin of who placed it or how it got there. And so if someone has that information, it would be really interesting to find out. The metal fence was removed, and that's where those markers were attached to the metal fence. And so the granite marker now marks their grave sites. So I have some pictures that we took there last year, if you'd be interested in looking at them. And it really is a beautiful area if you go into the cemetery. So it's been a pleasure to gather all this new information and to carry out the placing of those markers. And I hope that each of you will pursue that also, and to go and see if we can find them in the historical sites. Thank you.
Where did you get this information about the John McDougall house in Canada? Who had you from?
We had an email. Both Doug and I are in touch with John Young, who is the family historian for the. We tie into his family in the McDougall family. He's on the brother Henry. Yes. Okay. John had Alexander's father, John, had a brother named Henry, and so that's how we tie into John Young's family. And he is a real world-class kind of historian, and he has a great many resources. And where he had sent this is a the Globe Mail is an electronic newspaper, and that's how we got this story about the house in Toronto. And I have a goal, with my husband, there he is, to go to Toronto and visit this place. Sally has family in Toronto and would like to do that as well. It's we've talked about that before, actually visiting there. I would like to meet this man and go in his house and take a video of it. And if I can manage to do that, I'll bring the video and we'll show it next year. The original part of the house is still standing, and it's built onto several times, is what I understand. So the back bedroom is original. That was the original tavern, and then they built on several wings, which is now the whole house is huge. And so that's what is restoring the whole house. But there is an original part there that was back in 1804.
Wanda, one more question. And this may be in the book right now, I can't remember. Why did Alexander leave Toronto? You know?
Why did Alexander leave Toronto? Well, I don't know the reason. I've been told, and Stella was one of the sources of it, was that he left. His father married for a second time, and he would never felt close to his family, and so he set off, as many young men do, to make his fortune, and he joined the army and stayed here ever since.
Well, Stella used to like to tell that he was in Fredericksburg on R&R and met Johanna, and she could not speak a word of English, and he could not speak German, and as a consequence, they married and had 13 or 14 kids.
There was no language there.
Cool.
Did they live in that house as a home or a bed and breakfast or a museum?
Well, the history of the area is that you lived in an inn. Your family ran the inn, and people came and stayed overnight or whatever. I think mostly it was like a pub that the people in the area came and had drinks. But that was actually their home. But then as people traveled through, it was used as an inn, and they shared their facilities.
What is it now? Is this person's home?
Yes, this man is building this into a mansion, and it does describe all the antiques he has in there, and it sounds like probably one piece is more than I paid for my whole house. But he's done this because he values history and wanted to preserve this place, and that's why I would like to meet him, because he sounds like the kind of person that has the same values that I do. Of course, I don't have his money.
Thank you, Wanda. That's great. That's great. Very interesting. I didn't know that at all. Anyone have any other questions they want to ask Wanda? This is, hey, she adds a lot to this. I've learned a lot from Wanda and all her efforts, and Doug. Thank you so much again, Wanda. That's very interesting. And I do think you should go. I'd like to go myself.
Let's make the trip.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would love to see that place and see where we all got started. I commissioned you and Rick to go and lay the groundwork for us. Maybe some of the rest of us can go. Okay.
All these McDougalls coming in on it.
Yeah. Speaking of the home, John's home in Canada, I don't know much about where the family lives, the Alexander family lived here in Fredericksburg. Was that on the Morris Ranch?
Yes, Avondale.
I'm sorry, where?
Avondale, down on the Pernell River. Hadn't been too many years when Kurt Glenn was still alive. Part of that old cabin was still there. And I told him about it, he said he'd come down and pay it. I don't think he ever did something.
That's in Tybydale? Where is Tybydale from here?
Well, between here in Hartford.
Yeah.
You go back to one Mark Road.
And what's the story behind that? They lived there and worked on that ranch?
That's where they raised their family at. That's the name of the town.
Ivydale, yeah. Oh, Morris Ranch is in the town. I didn't know that. I thought they worked on a ranch.
Weren't you with us with Mom and Dad and Doris and I went over there?
Does anybody know where that pump station is on the Ivydale Road? You turn off right there and you go back. Oh, I'm trying to go back. Right there. You go right next to the river.
It's right there by the airport.
I don't know if any of you.
Well, who do you know who owns it? Owns the property?
We were there about 20 years ago. The house was still there in pretty good shape. I couldn't believe that whole family.
A log cabin was still there.
It was the log cabin?
Yeah.
No, I can't remember, but it was
All can.
probably.
Kurt told me he was going to make it. I think picture.
I hope he did.
I don't know what all that is that I put together. I guess he ought to know.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been an educational meeting. I didn't know Morristown was a community. I thought that was a ranch. They worked on a ranch. It
Well,
was
it's a settlement.
settlement.
Kind of like Hilda.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Doug, we got to count John McDougall family. You want the rest of them? Do you remember all the names? You got them down there, different kids? Starting with the oldest. Anybody from Williams family? I mean, William McDougall family. 0.
No.
No? William?
No, I didn't. I don't know.
Oh, somebody
Lois
speak up.
left and her husband's daughter. 8.
9.